Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 243. I am Brendan. Bellator 293. Marcelo Golm versus Daniel James. We are going to cover the main card here. We're going to break down all the fights. Zingano, Leah, McCourt, John Salter versus Aaron Jeffery, Archie Colgan versus Justin Montalvo, and Sullivan Cauley versus Luke Trainer. We are going to cover all those fights here. If you're looking for the prelims, I'm going to put that out tomorrow. There's a lot more fights. I'm just going to cover the main card here. Real quick, before we start getting into the fights, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. It'll let you know when the next video is coming out. Mean a lot to me. I do Bellator, UFC, PFL, 1FC, all that stuff. 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking this stuff down. Let's get started. Whew, okay, I am a little tired. We had some tornadoes rolling through here. So far, everything's okay, but anyway, so we were in the basement, bouncing upstairs, downstairs, trying to watch the fights, and now it's very late and I'm tired. But Marcelo Golm taking on Daniel James. So James, Chicago boy, I was rooting for him in the last fight. I don't know if heavyweights are always a hit or miss for me, right? Whenever they schedule 5 rounds at heavyweight, it's hit or miss. And this time I was hoping it would not go 5 rounds, and it didn't. James ends up getting the knockout in the 3rd round. So Golm was going low with the kicks really early. James caught one of the front kicks and threw him down to the ground, but he couldn't hold him there. Golm was in the clinch, landing hooks to the body really well. James was grabbing the cage. He got warned a couple times for that. No points deducted there. A lot of clinch work from Golm. He just did a lot of just way better work in that first round. I had him up 10-9. And then Golm was doing good work with those low kicks again. James was starting to have issues putting weight on it. So as you started to see it in the 2nd round, those leg kicks really started to take a toll on him. And he did mention it after the fight. Normally he walks through those, but with a guy like Golm who kicks really hard, that's an issue for him. So he rushed in to get into clinch range, and then Golm went right back to work like he was doing in the 1st round. He started landing those body shots in tight he would keep one underhook, right, and then free up the other hand and just unload to the body. And he was doing that really well. Goes for a takedown, got him down on the ground, and then he was in the half guard, landing body shots from that position as well. Golm with control and damage. I don't know if it was quite a 10-8 round, but it was really good. So this clearly shows that Golm is a better fighter, right? He is a more skilled fighter. He clearly knows what he's doing. He has more abilities and different positions to advance the fight. But what does James have? Well, he's a giant. I mean, he's 270 pounds. So he has to cut weight to make heavyweight. He's a huge dude, and he hits really hard, right? So at heavyweight, so in the beginning of this 3rd round, James was swinging wildly, and then Golm was stationary like an idiot and took an uppercut from James, and that was the end of it. He took a couple of shots from James, and that was the end of it. It just goes to show you that skill at heavyweight is secondary. It's not that it's not important. It is important. But if you're a big dude with physical gifts, you can go really far in this sport. You really can. Okay? And I won't hear it any other way. You show me another division in a major promotion outside of maybe light heavyweight, you can get away with it. But now you're pushing it, but it's possible. But again, it's the bigger guys. Show me a lighter division, light heavyweight and under, where you have people who are just physically gifted, who are able to excel at the highest level in a major promotion. I don't think you're going to find many examples, if any. Right? You'll have some one-hit wonders, you'll have some streaky fighters who make it, but most of the guys have to pick up skills at some point. Most of them already have them. Most of them are insanely skilled fighters. At heavyweight, you just don't have to be. If you're a physically gifted guy, if you're generally athletic and you didn't happen to make it in one of the other major American sports where you can make real money, fighting might be a good answer for you. Serious. If you can sling leather, you can sling leather and you're a big dude, heavyweight MMA fighter might be your future. So anyway, James gets a really good win here. It's exactly how he needed to do it to get the win. Maybe we can get a view of this. Yeah, so he's just swinging. He was swinging wildly, and it's not like he did a bad job here. That one right there. And then he puts him right down. And that's the end of it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he did a good job, and he did what he had to do. It's just, when you were watching him fight, did you think, oh, man, this guy's got so many skills, or, oh, man, this guy's going to be the next champion because he's just insanely talented? No, he just hits real hard. He's a big dude who hits real hard. Okay? Honestly, I'm kind of rooting for him because he's from Chicago. So I'm happy that he won. I figured the only way he was getting a win was a win like this, because Golm was just going to, work him to death. That's kind of what was happening. And, it's heavyweights, man. It's heavyweights. Well, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's so hard for me to take it seriously. It's really hard for me to take a sport seriously when, not the sport as a whole. Heavyweights is different. I explained why. But at heavyweight, where physics play more of a role than all the years of training that you've put in, it's crazy. But Daniel James called out Ryan Bader afterwards. Obviously, Linton Vassell is getting the next title shot, so he will have to wait his turn, but it is likely he will get a title shot after that. If not, he's going to, he'll likely get a title shot. All right, let's move on here. Kat Zingano versus Leah McCourt. Okay, some controversy here. Rightfully so. Well, this is actually a brand new picture. This picture is from the ceremonial weigh-ins. Anyway, Kat Zingano ends up getting the split decision win here. Actually, no, sorry. It was a unanimous decision win. The one card is weird to me. Anyway, how'd this fight go? So, nice low kicks from Zingano early. McCourt was landing. She landed a decent right hand at one point in this fight. There was a head kick to a right hand. Oh, this was a cool combo. I wish we had some video of it. But Zingano throws his left high kick. So this left kick to the head, follows it up with a right hand, and then immediately ducks under for a takedown. It was a really cool combo. Super sick. McCourt was able to pin Kat against the fence for a while. And then McCourt looked to be more comfortable in the striking, and the height was a huge advantage. It was really given Kat problems. I know the reach advantage isn't crazy, but the fact that she's got to be 6 foot tall. They say 5'10", but whatever. So Kat Zingano's 5'6", and Leah McCourt's 5'10". Zingano should be fighting at 135. This was at featherweight, so I would prefer her to fight at bantamweight because that's her more of a natural weight class, but she ends up fighting these bigger women, and in this case, she fought someone who was way bigger, very skilled, but she was just able to control her enough. We'll get to that. So Zingano ended up going for a trip and ended up on her back, transitioned and worked to take the back of McCourt for a little bit here. The round ended well for Zingano, but a majority of the round was controlled, and the damage was done by McCourt. So I gave Leah McCourt the first round 10-9. Bias up front, I was rooting for Zingano. I've been a fan for a very long time, and it's got to be one of her last runs here, and I was rooting for her. Like I said, stating my bias out front. Nice kick to the body from Zingano. McCourt caught it and took her down, but lost position. They ended up getting back up, and then they went right back down. And then McCourt gets the mount, and then she took the back. She's so freaking tall. I thought she was going to have her down there for a while and pin her down, but Zingano got her off. And then she ended up getting back on top. McCourt had a horrible half guard on her back. She just had a wide open half guard. It looked like she was out of place down there. I don't know what she was trying to do from that position out in the middle. This came up in the third round as well, but it was against the fence, so it saved her. She rolled, gave up her back. Zingano was on the back controlling more of this round, and I thought she did enough damage to take this round, so I had her winning 10-9. I had it 19-19 going into the third round, all tied up. So McCourt pushed Zingano down. It might have been a strike, but she was off balance, so I thought it was a push. Doesn't matter. She got her down. She follows her down, and then she hit her in the back of the head repeatedly and lost position because of it. She hit her in the back of the head probably a good 6 or 7 times and was warned again, and then I'm glad Frank Trigg did something that's never happened. You never see someone getting hit in the back of the head and being punished for it. If she lost position, she did not lose a point. But none of those strikes should count because they were illegal. All right, so Zingano with a hard low kick again. McCourt got a hip throw takedown, stayed on top, and she did really good work. Zingano reversed it to get on top. And at one point, McCourt got busted up from a knee that Zingano threw. It was a great one. Honestly, Zingano landed a backward elbow at one point that really screwed up McCourt's face. It caused a huge contusion here. And then she landed a knee that split her open real bad, and she was bleeding all over the place. And she took, after that, she took her down. McCourt gets Zingano's back. Then Zingano, with 5 seconds left, spins around in the guard to get position and stay on top. But it just wasn't enough from Zingano in this last round to win it. So I had it 29-28 to McCourt. So the judges gave it 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27 in favor of Zingano. That's crazy shit. That's crazy shit. And this is coming from someone who is rooting for Zingano here. That's crazy. I don't know how that's possible. Oh, Felicia. I don't know what her last name was, but Felicia was the one who gave it 30-27 to Zingano. That's bananas. Bananas. Like a 29-28 to Cat. I wish I could look at the cards. I don't know. If any of you guys out there know a way I can look at the Bellator card, the scorecard somewhere, can you find them for me, please? Give me a site where I can go look at them. I would love to be able to look at that. I would love to look at the striking numbers. They're just not out there. So I don't see, unless you gave the first 2 rounds to Zingano, maybe. But do you think they gave her the last round because of that cut? God, I don't agree with it. Personally, I was kind of pissed off at the end of it. I was like, man, Zingano lost this, and now she's not going to get the title shot that she should have just waited out for anyway. Right? How deep is the featherweight division, to be honest? So why doesn't she just wait out? But now she takes this fight against McCourt, who could have fought someone else and got the next title shot anyway. But now she takes on her. Now she loses, and now she's not going to get probably one of the last title shots of her career, if not the last title shot of her career. And then now I'm mad for the other reason, because this is a horrible decision. I don't know how they got this one that wrong. I really don't. I don't know what they were watching. I don't know what they saw. That first round should have gone to McCourt. Second round, you could I thought when they said that 30-27, I was like, oh, okay. Well, Leah McCourt won this because somebody gave that second round to McCourt, which I don't agree with. I thought Zingano did enough in that second round. But when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. But holy shit, that's bad. That is real bad. Okay, so are we looking forward to Kat Zingano taking on Cyborg? I think she's going to get demolished, but who knows? She could shock the world and give Cyborg her only loss outside of Nunes that means anything. All right, John Salter taking on Aaron Jeffery. Boy, if that's not a American white boy name. Aaron Jeffery. I know you don't choose your last name, but whatever. So this fight was just a grind. It really was. Salter ends up retiring after he gets a decision win here. Rightfully so. We can talk about it a little bit. Not much in terms of the highlights to watch, because he just pressured him the whole time and made him work and just got a gritty win. Jeffery was pressuring, looking to throw. Salter uses that and took him down. Jeffery worked his way up with 40 seconds left and used the wizard to throw Salter down, but that's not enough to take the round, so I had a 10-9 for Salter. Jeffery right in his face to start the second round, and that pressure and offense from Jeffery was doing a better job until Salter got the takedown, where he kept him there for the rest of the round. Jeffery didn't do enough when he was on the feet to get the damage he needed to outweigh all the time he spent on his back in the second round. So I had it 20-18 in favor of Salter. People got really upset at him. I can understand. It's not the most fun thing to watch, but Salter, Jeffery gets taken down immediately in the third round. Salter takes his back and standing, and then he throws in the body triangle. So the figure four, so he puts in the body triangle, and he played backpack for the entire freaking round. I don't know how you did. For those of you guys who are bored watching, I totally understand, but I really don't understand how he did that with his legs for 5 minutes or nearly 5 minutes. That's insane to hold that position for that long. It's so hard. And he held it there. So you could even give that last round a 10-8 just because Jeffery did absolutely nothing, but Salter didn't really do any damage and never really got close to submission. So I definitely wouldn't go 10-8, but if someone did, I could maybe understand their logic. But anyway, so I had him up 30-27. That's what they all did. And John Salter ends up retiring after this win. He's had a good career, right? He's had a lot of fights. Yeah, so he ends up, like, this was his 19th win. I think this is only his second decision win. Yes. So it's only his second decision win. And honestly, he just had to do it. He got the win the way he needed to. You know, he makes his money the way he has to. But the dude fought in the UFC back in the day. Let's see, when did he fight there? So he fought there in 2010. He fought Gerald Harris. Jason McDonald, I remember that guy. Oh, nobody's stepping stone. Every single time. And then he lost to Dan Miller. Then he went to Strikeforce. And he bounced around to some different stuff. And then he ended up going to Bellator in 2015, and he's been there ever since. And he's had a really good career there, right? Losing to Rafael Lovato Jr., who was the champion, who became the champion, right? Beats Chidi Njokwani, who is currently in the UFC, I believe. Yeah, that dude's in the UFC now. So anyway, he beats him, and that's a good win. And then he loses to Gegard Mousasi and Johnny Eblen. Champion. He fought for the title against Mousasi, for the title, I think, against Mousasi. And then he loses a fight to Johnny Eblen, which, you know, again, he becomes the champion. What do you want, man? It's one of those things where I don't see how this guy, oh man, makes it to a Hall of Fame is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be nice because he's just a grinder. He's a hard worker, and he's been in Bellator for a really long time, and he's had a lot of success there. I'm just trying to think of how he, where does he fit? You know, where does he fit in there? So, anyway, that's a good win for him. I'm glad that he went out on a victory. It's always good to see that. You get to see a guy go out not on top necessarily because he wasn't champion, but you get to see a guy go out on his own terms, getting a win, and I'm very happy for him. It's really cool to see that kind of stuff. Archie Colgan taking on Justin Montalvo. All right, I wonder if he's related to the referee. Anyway, Colgan has this really snappy fast jab, like holy crap snappy, and he popped it out there a couple times, but that wasn't the story of the fight. Obviously, this ended in the first round with Colgan getting the knockout. It was impressive, too. There was this nice low kick and a great right hand from Colgan. Colgan landed a couple of shots, and Montalvo got hurt really early. And then Montalvo just gutted it out and moved back and back into position, started throwing back at him. Colgan was using he used this great uppercut and worked in a takedown for a moment. Montalvo was throwing looping hooks. He landed 2 of them, but he took another right hand from Colgan, got hurt, and then another right hand from Colgan, and an uppercut dropped Montalvo and followed up to get the finish. What a great performance from him. It really was. Like, he lands so many of those shots. There's the drop. And there's another one and some follow-up, and that's the end of that. So, dude, the guy's good. They were both undefeated going in here. I think going forward, I feel like he's going to be doing a really good, like, he could do some really good work in Bellator, and I'm excited to see how his career pans out there because he's got some skills, man. Even Montalvo, they both got some skills. They're both coming from good camps. Colgan's coming from the Team Elevation. I think it's Team Elevation. With Justin Gagey and them. Nothing but champions up there. Hard-working dudes. Just crazy fighters. And then Montalvo's coming from Cerro Longo. Great camp. Another place that's just making champions. So, or at least one really good champion. Both of these guys have a big opportunity with Bellator to work their way to the top of this division, stay there for a while, and maybe you have a rivalry, and we'll get to see them compete against each other in the future. So, very good fight. I do recommend it. Sullivan Cauley taking on Luke Trainer. This was unfortunate for Cauley. Cauley was working for the takedown right away, using the knees to the butt for a while. Trainer worked his way to the feet and got the takedown himself, and he took the back immediately, gets the rear naked choke in, and gets the upset finish. It was unfortunate to see because Colgan got pretty emotional after this one. He was supposed to win this. He just didn't get it. You can see here, Trainer just digs it in, gets right under the chin, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, he couldn't get out of that one. So I thought he went to sleep there for a second. Great win for Luke Trainer. Great win over a hard opponent. So I think, man, it'll be interesting to see where he goes because I think Cauley, before this, yeah, I think Cauley before this was on a 4-fight win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 5. He was 5-0. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he was 5-0. Sorry about that. Yeah, he was 5-0, and that's why he was. Oh man, this guy's good too. Oof. I think this was this. No, this was not his Bellator debut. Anyway, it's gonna be fun. Man, there's a lot of really good fighters in Bellator now. I know there've been some in the past, and there's been some exciting fighters, but I think the depth is starting to get there for Bellator in some of their divisions. I think depending on what division it is, I think there's a chance that they. I don't think they will ever surpass what the UFC can do because the marquee, the name, right? People are always going to be going that direction, going towards the UFC. I don't know if necessarily it's the biggest payday, but it's definitely the biggest opportunity for marketing. So I don't know if they'll ever be able to overtake them, but I do think talent-wise, they will be able to fill out a decent talent pool that rivals what the UFC is currently doing, and they do it in a little bit of a different way, where they do take some of the older fighters of the UFC to bring people over to watch and get people more excited, but they are building up divisions from the ground up, right? Like the UFC doesn't take, for the most part, people with 1 professional fight, 2 professional fights. Bellator does. And they'll take really raw guys and let them work through the divisions and kind of develop them in-house. So that's something that the UFC doesn't do. Obviously, they have feeder promotions that do all that stuff. They let other people take the chances on all that. And obviously, they've missed really big with people in the past. So it's not like the UFC has the best track record necessarily. I'm just saying that fame-wise, I still think the UFC will dominate the space. I just do. But Bellator runs the gambit. They'll have fights where you're like, I can't believe this is professional. And then you'll have fights where it's the highest level. You'll see people grappling in grappling exchanges, in reversing, striking exchanges where things look like they are utmost professionals and they work really hard to do what they do. And then you'll follow that fight up with two guys who they look like they pulled them out of the crowd and threw them in there. It's like, hey, dude, what size trunks do you wear? We need somebody to fill in. So, good night of fights. All right, if you didn't watch Bellator 293, I do recommend going back and watching it. It's worth watching. There's enough interesting things that happen on the card. Some of the fights were finishes, and they're relatively short. It was a nice, snappy pace they kept to it, so I was very happy with it. That is it. If you're looking for the prelims, I'm going to do that tomorrow in the next video. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. It means a lot to me. If you want to know, if you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to the channel so you know when the next one's coming out. I really appreciate it. It does help the channel, too, if I get more subscribers, so that would make me happy. I appreciate y'all. It means a lot to me. If this is the only video you watch this week, thank you so much for spending time here. It means a lot to me. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I love y'all.